At the bottom of where we learned about the number line model, if you will draw a black line going across the bottom, we're going to write in this space. I know I was going to show you the quick trick to do it, and that's fine, and we will, but I actually want to quickly model all three ways without writing all the steps of a different problem. So maybe we'll do the problem, let's do 2/5. Well, we already did a 2. We'll do 3/5 of 3. 3/5 of 3. So let's do it the first way using the bar model. So remember, for the bar model, you draw that many candy bars. So actually what I'm going to do, I guess I'm going to need space. So I'll split this up since we're doing 3 different methods. Okay? This is the bar model. Bar model, 3/5 of 3. So I draw 3 candy bars. In each candy bar, I split it into fifths, so 4 lines. I color 3 of them, because that's what my numerator says. So I color 3 in that hole, 3 in this one, and 3 in this one. My final answer, the numerator is how many were colored. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And how many were each of the holes split into? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fifths. My final answer is 9 fifths. I could fix that. 5 goes into 9 once, and that would be like taking, what is 5 times 1? It's 5. So 9 fifths minus 5 fifths is 4 fifths. So either one of those answers is correct. Isn't that pretty awesome? Highlight the 9 in orange. It's so fast if you don't have to write the steps. So the next one. The next one is the area model. Again, it's going to be fast, and if you're having a hard time going that fast, you can pause the video or you can go back and look at the steps. But for the area model, you draw one big box. The problem is still 3/5 of or times 3. So we draw one big box. I need 3 tall sticks. Okay, I got 3 tall sticks. I cut each of the sticks. I go to one of the sticks and I cut it into 5 pieces. But I'm going to use my lines going the other direction, so going left and right. So I need fifths, which means I need 4 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure I have fifths going this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And I go to each hole and I color in 3 of those 5 pieces. So I'm just going to start on the top for all of them. I'm going to color that one. 1, 2. Remember, you're looking at the tall stick. 1, 2, 3. That was 3/5 of 1. Now I'm going to do 3/5 of 2 holes because there's 2 sticks now, 2 long sticks. And then I'll do it one last time. 1, 2, 3. So my final answer, how many little tiny boxes are colored? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What was each hole broken into? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into fifths. So look, I get the same answer again, 9 fifths. You're going to get the same answer every time unless you do something wrong, right? So there's 9 that are colored. That's why I like to do it like that. Okay, and last but not least, we're going to do the number line model. You are going to be asked to model a lot of different things, so make sure you know how to do this. So number line model, I start with 0 and I go till the whole number. So here's my number line. Starting with 0, and what do I end with? The whole, which is 3. Oh, sorry, I should write it again. 3/5 of 3. So this is 3. So who's right in between 0 and 3? Well, it'll be like 1.5. So really, I just kind of scoot over, and I do a 1 here, and I do a 2 there, and I hope it's kind of close. It's all right. I go in between each one. I cut it into fifths. So in between the 0 and 1, I got to cut that into fifths, which means I need 4 lines. I always like to do them a little bit smaller. Do 4 there and 4 more. So even though I drew 4 lines, it means there's 5 pieces if you look closely between 0 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? How many do I color in? 3. I'm just going to use my pencil for this because they're really small. So I'm going to circle 1, 2, 3 in that one. I come over to the next set between 1 and 2. Circle the first 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. And over here, 1, 2, 3. So now I'll use the orange. I just wanted to use my pencil to make sure it was a little more accurate. So my final answer, how many little pieces were colored? 3, 6, 9. Going between 0 and 1, how many pieces were there total? Well, that was 3, and then 2 more, 5. So the answer is 9/5 again. Pretty awesome. We did that pretty quick. All right, snap your fingers together. Get ready for this. It is pretty awesome. And you won't have to model all of the fraction problems that you have. So you just need to understand it. And you may occasionally need to model a few. But if you want to just find the answer in a quick way, now that you've been through all of the journal, I am going to show you the quick formula. Okay? It's not necessarily a trick. It's a fraction multiplication formula. I don't know if it's technically a formula, like in the math world, but we're going to pretend it is, okay? The fraction multiplication formula, especially when you're dealing with whole numbers, okay? So for the first one, number 1, put a fraction bar. Oh, we gotta first write the steps. Whew. Step number 1. Put a fraction bar. That just means the line. Put a fraction bar and a 1, the number 1. Put a fraction bar and a 1 under the whole number. Put a fraction bar and the number 1 under the whole number. And we're going to actually write all of these steps. Then we'll show it. Number 2, extend the fraction bar so they connect. Oh, yeah. Okay, they're going to either look like this. They're going to look kind of like, they could be a straight line, or it could be like a little slopey, like it might look like this. It could look like this, where it goes up, but you're going to connect the lines, all right? And then step number 3, is to multiply the numerators. And step number 4, multiply the denominators. And what I'm going to do right here is pretty crazy. I'm going to put a little caret in between steps 3 and 4. You can say simplify first if you can. And I'll show you what that means here in just a little bit, but we'll put like a little smiley face with it. So I just put out here, I'll put it in an orange caret with the smiley face that's orange. It says simplify first if you can. Okay, so step 1, you put a fraction bar and the number 1 under the whole number. Step 2, you extend the bars so they connect. Step 3, you multiply the numerators, so those bars could just go straight across, or it could be like going down or going up. And then after you multiply the numerators, you multiply the denominators, and you get your final answer. It's that simple. So let's do the one that we've been doing so much. We've been doing, is it 2/3 of 4? I'm pretty sure, yeah. So you ready? Here we go. 2/3 times 4. Instead of modeling it and drawing it, let's just do these steps. Put a fraction bar and a 1 under the whole number. So you make it into its own fraction. 4 over 1. Because 4 wholes is the same as 4 over 1. Number 2, extend the fraction bars. I'm going to use my black so they connect. Ooh, this one's going downhill skiing. I sometimes like to make the X a little bigger right there, but you don't have to. And then it says multiply the numerators. 2 times 4 is 8. And 3 times 1, multiply the denominators, is 3. 8/3, final answer. Okay, let me tell you how much faster that was than modeling. So much faster. It's so awesome. We're going to try a couple of those in a minute. But we're going to go over this. Simplify first if you can. Here's how you would simplify something first. You would look at the top numbers, 2 and 4, and you would look at the bottom numbers, 3 and 1, and you would ask yourself, I actually usually start just in the top left, and I say, okay, does the number 2 that's on top have anything in common factor-wise with a 3 or a 1? Like, can you divide those by the same number? Well, you can always divide them by 1 or 0, but I'm talking about a digit 1 through whatever, right? No, you can't. They don't share any common factors other than 1. And we're not going to use 1 because that's a waste of our pencil lead. So you can't simplify that first, at least for the 2 part. Now let's look at the 4. Does the 4 have anything to do with anything on the bottom? The 1 or the 3? Not really, right? There's no common factors between all of them, so it doesn't work. A lot of people get confused and they do this. But 2 and 4, those come from the same fact family. They have common factors. If you're going to simplify first, you can only use relationships between the top numbers and the bottom numbers. We'll get into that more and more as we go on, but if you're having a hard time simplifying first, then you can always simplify or fix it at the end. So we're just going to write step number 5 right here. Simplify or fix. And we learned what that meant from Unit 1. To fix it means to change it back into a mixed number. Okay? So let's quickly practice some of these quick fraction multiplication formulas. Okay? Practice. Let's draw that in a black box. We are ready to practice. So let me just throw a couple at you right off the bat. Let's do, let's try this one. This is not one you would want to draw, so this would be a good one to practice. 2/9 times 20. Ready? Throw 1 underneath it. Extend the bars so they connect. Now you multiply numerators. 2 times 20 is 40. 9 times 1, multiply denominators. 9 times 1 is 9. The answer is 40/9. Or, if I do step 5, simplify or fix it, how many times does 9 go into 40? It goes in 5 times. No, that'd be 45. So 4 times, which is 36. So you take away 36 pieces, and you're left with 4/9. It is that much faster. Can you imagine if I made you draw 20 bars if we were doing the bar method? Oh, that would be so crazy, right? It would take forever. Let's try another one. Let's try 2/3 of 13. Ready? Go. Throw 1 underneath the whole number. Make the fraction bars connect. Make sure that still says times. 2 times 13 is 26. You're welcome for that. 3 times 1 is 3. That can be your answer if they let you leave it as a fraction. So let's write the word fraction. If they let you leave it as a fraction, you can do that. But if they don't say leave it as a fraction, I do want you to fix it. So 3 goes into 26 8 times, which would be 24. 3 times 8 is 24. So you take away 24/3 from 26/3, and you get 2/3. This is called what? A mixed number. It is so great to know the fast methods of how to do this. I love it so much, and hopefully you will love it too. So you know how to model it, and you know how to do it the fast way, okay? So what I want you to do is, we are actually going to try to go through this pretty quickly. I don't think I want you to do that or that. We are not going to have to do a workbook page today. It's pretty exciting. But I want you to find your homework in Remembering 3.3. Okay? On the homework side, let's go over this. Make sure your name and number and the date get on it, and on the Remembering side. Pause the video if you need to go grab that really quickly. On number 1, we're going to be using this over here. Will you please put this in an orange box? This sign is going to be used to know distances about these hikers, or they're campers, I guess. It says the campers in each cabin at Bear Claw Camp held a contest to see who could walk the farthest in one day. Use the sign to answer the questions. Write your answers as fractions. So it says the campers in cabin A walked 1/4 of the way to Otter Ridge. So you need to make sure that you are doing the math right. So you're going to need to do, on number 1, 1/4 of 13 because Otter Ridge is 13 miles away. So that's the problem. You're going to have to do this later. Go quick. Number 2. Cabin B walked 2/3 of, that means times, the way to Silver Stream. Where is Silver Stream? It's 8 miles, so it looks like that. Number 3, Cabin C walked 3/5 of Fossil Cave. Fossil Cave is 9 miles. Number 4, they walked 1/6 of the way to Mammoth Mountain. Whoa, 25 miles. So you're going to solve all of these, finding out how many miles. Then it says which group of campers walked the farthest that day. So you can't guess. You're going to have to actually show the math. And once you have all of these written, then you need to put it in a complete sentence of who walked the farthest. Now, if it's a story problem, I don't want it left as a fraction. Oh, actually, man, it says you can write your answers as fractions. You luckies. Normally I've made you fix that, but you can leave it as a fraction. If you want extra credit or maybe a bonus stamp, then you could write it as a fraction and a mixed number if you want, if you heard that. Number 6, you know how to do this. You can use your journal for help. You're going to be fine. 9 through 17, just do them really quickly. Let me just start with number 10. Just throw a 1 underneath that, connect the lines, and multiply it. It says you can leave it as fractions. So just multiply the numerators. 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times 1 is 3. Circle your final answer, please. It's going to be that fast. You're going to do fine. On the remembering side, easy. You should know how to compare fractions still. Use your journal if you struggle. Same with comparing decimals. And these ones, let's look at 13 through 21. Now, you can throw a 1 underneath it. You really can keep doing that. That will always work. So let me just show you on number 13. It'll always work. Throw a 1 underneath the whole number. Extend the bar. 4 times 20 is 80. 5 times 1 is 5. But it doesn't say I can leave it as a fraction. So then I would be in a situation where I have to figure out what 5/80ths is. Just so you know, it's 16. But let's erase that and relook at this again. If I can't leave it as fractions, see the directions on this side say, write your answer as fractions. That's a quick throw 1 underneath it and go. But if I can't write it as fractions, then I might want to look for that thing we learned about fact families. Look at the denominator and the whole number. How did I get from 5 to 20? I times by 4. And 4 times the numerator, 4 times 4 is 16. So let's try it again. Ready? How did I get from 3 to 21? I times by 7. And 7 times 2 is 14. So there's faster ways. If they belong, denominator and whole, if they belong in the same fact family, it's way faster to do that than even to throw a 1 underneath it. So use the methods wisely when you're doing fractions. And you do not have to stretch your thinking. Good luck. Thanks for hanging in there today on all of the modeling. Use your journal for help if you need it.